What's up everyone and welcome to our summer series sketch tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to draw a hummingbird. For today's lesson I'll be drawing with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. Now if you don't have a mechanical pencil, anything you have around the house will work just fine. Now the first thing we're going to do is block out the pose of our hummingbird with some basic shapes. Let's start on the top right side of our page and draw a small circle. And this will define the size of the head. And the circle doesn't have to be perfect. Just smooth this out as best you can. Now over on the right side of that circle, draw a straight line coming down. Let's go over towards the left side of that circle, draw another line coming down. And we're going to bend the back going out towards the tail. So we're going to step down across this line, bend this down, and then just curve that out towards the end of the tail. Somewhere around here, we can come back and readjust the length later. Let's curve this back across the bottom of the body and then up towards that right side of that line. So go across. I'm just going to bend that up. Now right where this curve meets this line, we're going to draw the wing. We'll start with a straight line going across, stretch that all the way across towards the end of our page, and then we'll open up the wing, coming down, and then bend that back in towards that line. Now let's draw on the back wing. We're going to start from the top, angle this up, and then back to right about there. Now let's taper this so it gets wider as you come back in towards the body. Now we're going to add a line going across the center of the head in an angle. So let's start from the bottom left side. Draw a straight angle line going up and then out. Now from the tip, I'm just going to make this a little bit thicker as you come back in towards the head. Now along this line, I'm just going to follow this to right about here and draw a circle for the eye. Now that we have the rough sketch in place, let's go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. And then we're going to use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. Now I want to refine the shape of that eye. We're going to add a point on the left and right side. So we're going to go up and then down to the bottom and then back up towards a point. Now on the top right side, let's add a small circle for a highlight. I'm just going to roughly shade the inside of the eye going around that highlight. Now we're going to modify the shape of the head. Let's start from the top. I'm going to curve this across. Now we want to blend this in toward the top of the beak. So we're just going to pull this out, bend that across, round out the head, come down. Now right here, it's going to bend this out in behind the wing. Let's add some more shape to that beak. We're going to go out, and we want to bend this down towards the tip, come across the bottom. Now right here, we're going to blend this in towards the neck. Come down towards the right side of the body. I'm going to lightly add a trim going up from the beak in towards the eye. Go across and out. Now let's split the beak in half. Going across the middle and then in. Let's go back and do another cleanup around the face just so we can get a better look at our detail. We'll take out that circle along the bottom. Now with the wing, we're just going to dip this down towards the body along the inside. Go across, give it a slight curve. Now I'm just going to bend this down towards the tip of the wing, to right about there. Round out the wing. Just pull it back in. Curve the inside, going up and then in. Now I'm going to add a separation line. We're going to cross the inside, step over, and just draw a layer for the inside feathers. And we'll go back and clean this up. Now let's continue across the tail towards the end. I'm just going to separate the end of the tail. These lines curving across the body. Just adding some layers across the end. Just pulling this up. Now right here we're going to step up, close off the body, come across the bottom. Now just smooth out the front edge of the chest. Now I'm going to go and start adding some contrast. So I'm going to darken up the inside of the eye. Let's fade that down towards the bottom to add a bit of a glare. Just add a little bit of detail going around the eye. And then from here, it's going to work our way out towards the beak. Just adding a little bit of texture. Just add that soft texture across the bottom of the eye, coming down. And we'll separate the beak in half. Add a little nostril on the end. Now I'm going to use the side edge of my 2mm pencil to add some shading across the tip of the beak. So I'm just going to darken that up and then fade that in. I'm going to add a little bit of tone to the top of the head from the edge of the beak and then just blend this across. Do the same thing across the bottom and then fade that down. At any stage, we can come back and just modify the shapes anywhere we need to. So adding a little bit more shape to the upper wing. Just add a seam across the back. Just work our way out towards the tip. Now I'm going to separate the tip of the wing with some feathers. Just going to curve this across. Just adding a little bit of a curve to the ends. Just blending that in. I'm going to work my way across the bottom. Just going to go small with that spacing and that gap. Now I'm just going to add some feathers across that edge. So just tucking some in behind and just fading that up towards the top. Now I'm going to add a light row of feathers across, just using this line as a guide. Let's separate the feathers across that back wing. So we're just going to step down, just add these layers, just pulling this in towards the front. Just blending that out. We'll just soften up that edge across the inside. And then I'm going to go back and just darken up our contrast. And now once we have our sketch in place, I'm going to go in and start adding some shading in various tones. So I'm going to move to the side edge, my 2mm pencil. We just want to darken up the bottom of that back wing and then fade that up. I'm using the side edge just to get that soft coverage. And then just lighten that up as we come in. Add a little bit of shadow across the top. And then blend that back out. Just going to add a little bit of shadow to each of these feathers across that bottom line and pulling that up. darken up the outside edge of the head and then fade that in. I want to darken up the bottom of the body and then fade that up. And this will help give some shape to the hummingbird. So just rounding out the body by adding this shadow. I'm just going to fade that up towards the top. Now the wing's going to cast a shadow across the body. So I'm just going to darken up the inside and then from the top coming down. Now we're going to add a little bit of texture across the body with these little shaded stripes. So we're going to start with this as the base. Stop right about here. And work our way down from the beak. And then we're going to go back and just add these little spots that look almost like scales. Just going to overlap this on top of that shading. On the right side of the body. Now going back to our 0.9mm pencil, we're just going to add a little bit more detail. I'm just adding some texture to the head and body coming down. We'll add some more texture inside the wings. Add some more texture coming down from that second layer. And then in our final pass, I'm just going to go back and just tighten up our lines and details. So I'm going to start back at the top of the head. Now right in the center of the body, I'm just going to add a little tone change just underneath these feathers. Just going to darken that up and then fade that down. Now, as we get near the end, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and details, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of a hummingbird. I hope you enjoyed today's summer sketch series. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.